You're watching Fugitive Red Eye, and welcome to another episode of Takeshi Tuesdays. Once again, we'll be talking about another one of Takeshi's directorial works, which he also starred in, the film Takeshis. Now, this movie is unique in that it's the only one where he plays two characters. In fact, every prominent actor in this film actually has dual roles, and that's something that I really like about it. Takeshis was released on September 2nd, 2005, and it runs for approximately 108 minutes, which translates roughly to an hour and 48 minutes. Takeshis was the first in Takeshi Kitano's surrealist autobiographical trilogy, which isn't a trilogy in the traditional sense because they're not sequels to each other, they're just some thematically similar movies. Out of the three, I would say Takeshi's is my favorite. But Takeshi's follows Takeshi as two different versions of himself, one of which is a struggling actor who can't get a break, and the other is his actual self, the director, Beat Takeshi. The movie itself is a very surrealist movie. It starts out with the first 10 minutes or so focusing on the director Takeshi, but the rest of the movie almost exclusively focuses on the actor Takeshi, and the actor Takeshi gets wronged by everyone around him, and eventually goes on a killing spree. One of the unique things about this movie is a lot of what you see doesn't make sense. For instance, he kills the same characters multiple times, and they still talk to him. Rewatching it, I was able to make more sense of it than I was the first time, because they do kind of explain it a little bit in the ending, without spoiling anything. It is an interesting movie where a lot of what's going on is just bizarre. And in a way, it's also a tribute to Takeshi's film career, because it has plenty of references to the movies he's done. Interestingly, he portrays his director self as not the nicest person. In fact, the director Takeshi is one of the people who's kind of mean to the actor Takeshi. You don't actually see that until later in the film, which I guess makes it a mild spoiler, but it's not one that I think is enough to ruin the movie. But he does get, the actor Takeshi gets an autograph from the director Takeshi, and he asks him to make it out to Mr. Kitano, because both of them are named Takeshi Kitano. But when he writes it, instead writes to Mr. Clown. Overall, Takeshi's is a very interesting ride, where lots of crazy shit happens. I'd say it's an excellent movie worth watching, and it was unfortunately a movie that did not have Joe Hisaishi as soundtrack, because the movie previous to it, Satoichi, was the one where he decided not to work with Joe Hisaishi anymore. Despite that, the soundtrack is still pretty good, but it's no Hisaishi soundtrack. The film itself does have some comedy to it, for sure, and it has a lot of suspense to it, and action. It's a very good movie overall, and I highly recommend seeing it if you haven't. Anyway, this has been Fugitive Red Eye. I'll see you next time on Takeshi Tuesdays.
Subscribe to Fugitive Red Eye.